should work now. We got a lot to discuss, so let's make sure we are good. Are we green? I think so. All right. Let's do this. Let's check our stats and our numbers in terms of stream. Make sure we're not glitching, because we've had that in the past, and I think we should be good. So with that, I say good afternoon once again. This is Weather Day Part 2, if you will. Let me enter the title here. Part 2. And then we'll do these in parentheses. Save. There we go. And that should do us good. All right, then. And let me make sure. Yeah, I'm in best performance. Okay. All right. And let me just take you full, actually, while I'm at it. Second screen. Just take you full. And we got to talk about what's happened here since we last talked about 15 minutes ago. We have this storm that's approaching the Mason-Dixon again. That's been a big hail producer in the last 10-15 minutes in Adams and York counties. New Freedom, Shrewsbury, those areas are under the gun. And then eventually some of the same areas along the Mason-Dixon from earlier, pardon me, Norrisville, Freeland, out to, let's say, Jordan Mill Farms, Indian Meadows, Maryland line. That's heading your way. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sterling jumps the gun and issues a warning for northern Baltimore and northern Hartford counties here with this particular storm. This severe thunderstorm that has had some sustained strength here for the better part of an hour now. You see it back towards Shrewsbury from earlier. And by the way, this storm is trailing that one. So eventually, some of the same locations from earlier may be in the path. Forgive my terrible drawing skills there. But a lot of those same locations from earlier may be under the gun again from another storm that's coming up. And this one's producing ping pong ball sized hail potentially and some rotation as well. I see a torpossible tag on this. So let me just look at the rotation here. And this is looking from Sterling's radar. And I'm going to try to match it up here real quickly. They are probably talking about this rotation here near Porter, Seidling, and Jefferson and Penn Grove. Just on the northern end of Lake Marbury. That is where we see a little bit of a hook appendage in the reflectivity. See some gate-to-gate shear here. Some winds going one way, winds going the other way. Directly next to each other. And that could be a problem here in terms of tornadic development. Now, our tornado chances are relatively low. It's not the biggest threat today, by far. But still, it has to very much be watched. And we're seeing that from Sterling. And that's a good distance. That's not the furthest in the world, but that's a good distance there. So we'll have to watch this. But for those in portions of Baltimore County and York County, you're going to have to watch this. And I'm going to go over to my severe browser here. So hang tight for me 1 second while I do that. And we're going to look at the information. I'm going to get the speed verified and everything. Southeast at 30. All right, so you'll do the track. So that'll be near Shrewsbury at 4:05. So basically right now, Keeney at 4:08, and then eventually we start talking about Harkins and McDermott, Susquehanna Trails by about 4:30. Bryensville 4:40, Pilesville just before that. Getting down towards Dublin and Poplar Grove close to 4:50 there if this does hold together. And then eventually some of the same locations from earlier, Port Deposit and others closer to 5 o'clock. So Conowingo Village, 5 o'clock for you. Churchville, same deal. Just looking at some of the other locations here. Just making sure I'm not missing any bases in terms of important location. And there's I-83 here, the Harrisburg Expressway. So for those on the Harrisburg Expressway between, let's say, Hereford and York, maybe not the best idea to drive right now, considering that we may be seeing some sizable hail, and that could be a whole problem with windshield damage. Let's talk about the original storm from earlier. This is now south of Elkton towards Chesapeake City. Where is this heading next? It's going to cross the state line into Delaware here. Then give me a second. All right, there we go. But this is going to be near 71, the Chesapeake and Delaware Canal, 896, heading into Newcastle County here. So Middletown, Townsend, Delaware City, Williamsburg, Kirkwood, all heading for you. There's another storm over Newark, Delaware that's going to be heading towards Newport, Wilmington Manor, and eventually Newcastle. That's going to probably go through the south side of Wilmington here as well. And let me just bump this down to the last 7 frames here. Yeah, probably more towards Newcastle than the south side of Wilmington here, and then eventually cross the Delaware River into Jersey. So there is that with that storm. Charles County, we need to talk. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning, and I talked about this earlier during part 1, how these storms with the complex that was moving through Prince William and Stafford and Fauquier counties in Virginia will be heading for you. Now it's moving in. Now it's over Quantico and Camp Barrett and Triangle, south of Dale City. And I would not be surprised here, and this is a concern I have, if we do have flash flood warnings. Because look how these storms are moving. And I'll actually bump up the amount of frames here. You'll see 21 here. We're going back to 230. Notice how they're just moving over the same areas. They're following like trains on the track. This is the training effect. Basically, the heavy rain moving over the same area over and over again for a long period of time. And if this does become the case, we will have to worry about flash flooding potentially in western Charles County and also Stafford County, southern Prince William County. So be mindful of that if you are in Charles County. I know first and foremost, the chief concern is the severe thunderstorm warning. But at some point, you're going to be potentially put under a flash flood warning simply because of this. Let's talk about 1 hour totals here. 1 hour totals. The green is getting into the yellows here. And I'll try to load this up here. We're talking closer to 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Getting into those whites and getting near the yellows here. So let me just click on this, and we're talking an inch and change in the last hour alone. But I think that effect will really start to take place over the next 30 minutes if we continue on with this. So do be mindful in Charles County, and we got a big line, a big squall of rain with this complex just moving in. And that's probably some large hail as well. Nanjemoy, Doncaster, Chickamunxon, Green Manor Estates along 224. That is your big problem there. So Riverside Road, it's going to be nasty for a while down there in Charles County with that storm. The one that has done all the hail producing and it's caused a lot of problems since it was back towards Dulles Airport. That is now north of Aquasco and Eagle Harbor. That is approaching Chesapeake Beach over Sunderland right now and just east of Baton. There's Aquasco and Eagle Harbor, PG County into Calvert County, and then you got far southern Anne Arundel County here, Friendship, Fairhaven, Tracy's Landing, Bristol. But really right now, it's northern Calvert County that's starting to really get in on this. And it's below severe criteria, so that is good news in that regard. However, I will mention Chesapeake Bay, for those who are on the water, getting into the mouth of the chop tank here, it's not a good idea to be on the harbor right now, considering the lightning and the wind that could be in place. Madison, Cambridge, Algonquin, you're going to have to watch this as well as this crosses over the bay, because that may be heading for you. Also, St. Mary's County, You're going to have to watch this complex as well. These storms are moving fairly quickly. And there's a new warning from State College for Lancaster County, PA, with this storm just to the east of Lancaster. So there's just a lot going on right now, and this will likely continue. This is a cluster of just strong, potent thunderstorms right now. In Metro Baltimore, you may be asking, when are we going to get some? Well, we're going to have to watch and wait. We're going to have to watch and wait. And I'll actually pull up the rapid refresh here. So let me just turn off the alerts and go to our rapid refresh. And let's talk about this real quick. So here's 3 o'clock on the rapid refresh I had recently up there. So we'll get that loaded. And I think that should be loading. We may get on some thunderstorm activity here in the metro. However, HRRR is not picking up on a whole lot, at least in the 18Z run that I'm seeing right now. That 19Z, we'll have to watch and wait and see what happens with that. But right now, in the metro, nothing in Metro Baltimore. DC's seen their fair share. Southern Maryland's seen their fair share. Eastern Shore might get in on some action as well. Here in the metro, it's watch and wait. That's just how it is. And let me just turn back on the warnings we have at the moment. And there you go. That's what we have right now. What I want to do here in the meantime, in between time, is let's talk about how tall these storms are. So, for example, I'm going to make sure I'm on the right radar here for this one in York County, and I am. We're going to go into our volumetric mode. And basically what this does is that it puts everything into 3D. It's one of the new features that Radar Omega has really implemented during recent updates, and I really like what they've done with this. And again, we don't get them instantaneously. We have to wait for a few minutes with volume scans, but we could get some recent ones in and we could talk about how tall these storms are going. So let's talk in terms of the hail aspect here. What these storms are producing. So this one in York County, this one was higher earlier. I do remember. This one was higher earlier. This thing was pushing like 23 to 25,000 feet in terms of hail alone. Right now it's pushing about 20. It's going through a phase where it's strengthening and it's weakening and it's strengthening, but still pretty potent for a thunderstorm, by the way, 20,000 feet. And if I just do this on another number of storms here, let's go down to, do I just want to do this whole complex? Let's just do this whole complex here. I mean, you can see some of these hilltops here. They're broken apart, but the more organized one is going up to about 18. And that's with the one that has crossed the river recently. And that was from a recent scan as well. Earlier, this one was pretty strong as well, but it's kind of lost a lot of the key characteristics for the hail producing alone just within the storm right here. So, yeah, these storms have been very interesting to watch from a meteorological perspective, a Doppler radar perspective over the last 90 minutes to 2 hours. Let me see if I can get the Mount Holly radar for this, and we can get that switched over. And I want to talk this storm that is heading towards Wilmington. And for this one, I'm going to use Slice. Let's use the slicer. I mean, this one right here is going up to about 27,000 feet. That's a pretty tall thunderstorm right here, for what it's worth. And the Weather Service just dropped the warning for Cecil. I'm assuming it's starting to move out there now. And I'll get back to the other storms here in a second, but I want to make sure I'm on the right ones here. But this one that's heading into Newcastle County is pretty strong and should not be taken lightly. Let's talk volumetric still. And I'm going to use a slicer for the storm in York County here. And this from a little bit earlier, so there we go. This one was going up to about 27,000 feet. That was at 407, so that was not too long ago. And then let's talk this whole complex here. Down in Virginia and into southern Maryland we go. And this one's going up about 25,000 feet. So pretty serious business on that storm right there. And there's a new warning that just dropped here. This is going to clip another small portion of Charles County. This is going to be including that bridge that connects to Dahlgren. So we might get a good view from that MDOT camera as well. But this is that new warning here. This is going to include Central Stafford, Northern King George County as well, I believe. Yep. Clips Charles County as well. Fauquier County does get clipped here, but that's like the farthest, like it's touching the border basically. It's starting to get out of there now. But King George County, Stafford County, clips southern Charles County as well with this warning. Give me 1 second real quick. But that's with this new storm here. Let's see if I can get the latest frame. There's our latest frame. I'm going to try to use chart here real quick. So you got to give me a second. Give me a second here. Let's look at our... Because I know there's traffic cams along that bridge. I know we're going to get a really good perspective into this. All right, just had to check some stuff, but I'm back with this. Let's talk the camera here. So this is going to be basically halfway across the bridge. What I'm seeing right now. So it's going to be right about here on 301, just over the Potomac. And it's pointing back in the direction of Newburgh. So this is looking near Newburgh, and this is with some of the heavier showers here. Actually, if I do take this relatively full, you can see some of the darker areas within the picture here on the Maryland side in the background. That's those heavier rain bands that are moving in. This is probably, if I were to take a guess, it would be this one right over 301 to the immediate west of Newport, right around the Wycomico Ridge and Lot Hare Station. And there's a new warning. Hang on.
Weather Service in Mount Holly, New Jersey has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for western Cumberland County in southern New Jersey.
All right, that's what the storm. All right, come on. Come on. That's what that storm that is moving out of Cecil and into Newcastle County, and now is apparently starting to make its way into South Jersey. I'll show you that one real quick. There it is, and that's for a large chunk of South Jersey, the immediate southern New Jersey areas across the Delaware River from Delaware itself. So Bridgeton, Canton, Greenwich, or is that Greenwich? Greenwich, I'm sorry. But that's what that storm over there. This one here is a bona fide complex. A bona fide complex that does include probably some larger hail, some gustier winds compared to the other storms around today, and probably a more of an enhanced flash flooding threat than any of the storms that we have seen thus far today, simply because of the training effect. So this is the storm of the hour right now, no doubt about it. This storm over southern Charles County, moving back into western, or not even western, eastern and northern portions of Stafford County, Virginia. And there's even more activity right now popping up back into Fauquier County, back into Culpeper County. Like, it just doesn't end. It just doesn't end. It simply just doesn't end. Ay, ay, ay. These storms back in Culpeper County and Rappahannock County, it doesn't end. It doesn't. It just doesn't end. We got storms back in, oh God, Rappahannock County, Culpeper County, Fauquier County, and then we got this one here that is on the northern end here of Albemarle County, heading into Greene County and southern Orange County, Virginia. So it's been eventful across northern Virginia, and now central Virginia is getting in on this. There's even more activity right now crossing the West Virginia state line, and then there's another one to the north and east of Charleston. So it's relentless. It is just downright relentless right now. I also want to pay attention to one particular area, and it's been one that hasn't had anything today, but there's a shower that popped up, and if you know anything, these storms can intensify quickly. Let's keep an eye on this bad boy in eastern Frederick County and southern Carroll County, because if that gains steam, we're in trouble here in the metro. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. some of these storms out here along I-70 have been really struggling to find their footing. So I'll have to wait and see. And if there is storms in the metro today, that might be our best chance. Because there's our outflow boundary. Our outflow boundary is sitting like so with those little blue lines here. So there's our outflow, and it's sitting right along it. So this may intensify. If we do get thunderstorms here in Metro Baltimore, that may come out of this one. So we'll have to watch that very, very, very closely. And there's a new warning right now. This includes southern Charles County into western St. Mary's County. Let me load up the storm reports, and I'm willing to bet you this is going to include a good, I'm willing to bet this could include some good sized hail and 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds here. So let me hold this up real quick on the secondary one so you can see everything's still in full. So the National Weather Service in Sterling has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for west central St. Mary's County, southwestern Charles County in Maryland, and northeastern King George County in central Virginia until 5 o'clock. At 4:25, a severe thunderstorm was located near Nanjemoy Creek, moving east at 35 miles per hour. The main hazards include our 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Radar indicated as the source for this concern. Locations impacted include Port Tobacco River, Pope's Creek, Wycomico, Newburgh, Swan Point, Tompkinsville, Maddox, Chaptico, Welcome, Faulkner, Mount Victoria, and Belle Alton. So this is that storm right now that is near Belle Alton and Cedar Grove as of the moment, heading towards Newburgh. And let me just here closer, but here's the Wycomico River. 231's not too far, or 238, I should say, is not too far from this. Coffee Hill, Chaptico, Mount Victoria, Anchorage, Anchors. You're about to get in on some pretty heavy activity here in short order. So for those in St. Mary's County, western St. Mary's County, along 234, 236, and 238, you are about to get in on some pretty heavy thunderstorms that are warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. And what is this? That's a special marine warning. I believe that is the one that is just to the south here. And that's going to include essentially the Potomac River from the Dahlgren area and Morgantown, most of the tidal Potomac, all the way down to the Chesapeake. So pretty much the southern half of the Potomac River, or should I say the Potomac River from Quantico southward, or even let's say Dale City, from near Dale City southward right now, is not advisable to be traveling on the waters there. And we got a new warning that just came out. This is gonna be for Louisa. It is Louisa County. It does include the city of Louisa. Along US 33, 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Do you have any friends or family in Louisa County, Virginia? That's for them to worry about. This storm in Calvert crossing the Chesapeake right now is starting to organize itself a little bit better again. I wouldn't be surprised if Wakefield, who I would believe hold jurisdiction in this situation here, would issue a new warning, a severe thunderstorm warning for Dorchester County. So we're going to have to watch for that as well. Nothing yet out of this Carroll County cluster yet. There's a light to moderate shower right now just south of Martinsburg in Berkeley County again. We'll have to wait. I'm really interested to see if the weather service in Sterling goes with a severe thunderstorm warning for Hartford County with this, because this was really intense earlier, at least from the radar signatures, but right now not looking as impressive as it did earlier, but still enough for caution and concern. This is going to be tracking some of the same locations that were earlier impacted by the storm that is now crossing the Delaware River. All right, so you're going to have to very much watch this particular storm back in York County, PA, because it's heading in that general direction once again. But looking big picture, that's what we got again. As we do like a full reset. And forgive me, I've had this camera up for a while because it's just so interesting to see everything that's been unfolding. But it's a mess down in our southern counties. A mess in terms of the radar. But that's what we're dealing with right now. I don't want to do picture in picture. I want to do a loop here. We'll do the last. This is the last hour and a half. This isn't the last 90 minutes. You can see these storms that have been moving east and southeast. We had a storm near Frederick earlier that just fell apart. Watch. Intensified and then just fell apart. There. Washington County got in on some. Southern Washington County. But then as they approached Frederick, it just started to like really fall apart. There's Shepherdstown, Trego, and Keedysville fell apart into the city of Frederick. And then there's another one I tried to develop near Trego. That one fell apart as well. So anything in the metro has just been tough sledding. And thank goodness for that, because to the south it's not been pretty. And there's a new warning here. This is going to be Prince William County again with that cluster. They got new...
For northwestern Stafford County in northern Virginia, southeastern Fauquier County in northern Virginia, northeastern Culpeper County in northern Virginia, south central Prince William County in northern Virginia until 5:15 p.m. At 4:31 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located over Bealton, Oregon, 9 miles south of Warrenton, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour with gusts and quarter-size hail. Source. Radar indicated. Impact. Damaging winds will cause some trees and large branches to fall. This could injure those outdoors, as well as damage homes and vehicles. Roadways may become blocked by downed trees. Localized power outages are possible. Unsecured light objects may become projectiles. Locations impacted include Bealton, Opal, Remington, Catlett, Calverton, Midland, Elkwood, Roseville, Lois,
Alright. Let's go back into alert mode on the radio. I like having this just because it gets me the information straight for the source as well as the polygons there. But this is that new warning for Prince William County with, again, they have just been hammered this afternoon with severe weather. Hammered. And again, Bealton is getting in on activity. Remington. And this is going to probably follow in the exact same path as the cluster of storms that we have right now back in eastern Stafford County and into Charles County and St. Mary's County and King George County. It's just going to continue. And flash flood warnings right now seem like they might be inevitable, because we're going to have training over some of the same areas over and over again with this rainfall. And it's just not, it's not going to be suitable at this point in terms of not getting any flash flooding. So for those in this area that I'm circling right now, or actually I'll skim it down a little bit, this area right here, you need to seriously consider that we could get flash flood warnings. And if you live in low-lying or flood-prone areas, you need to think about having a plan. And I know you got severe thunderstorm warnings. I know it's lightning and hailing and raining like it's like Mother Nature has no sense outside. But this is slowly but surely becoming a concern. Let me look at 1 hour totals here. I'm sorry. 1 hour totals. Now we're starting to get into the yellow range. That's pushing an inch and a half, 2 inches, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Well, actually, I might be wrong. Only seeing 1.17, but still, you get my point. With the heavy rain that this is producing and how long it could be producing it for, that's a problem. That is 100% going to be a problem. So don't be surprised if at some point we do get flash flood warnings put into place simply because of this. let's talk wind aspect real quick. I haven't talked a whole lot about it because damaging winds are not a big concern with a lot of the storms today, but this one here near Dahlgren, I'm seeing some brighter reds. And this is an indication of some stronger winds. And indeed, we could be seeing some pretty strong winds here. Or actually, it might be just be the reflectivity is so strong in this area that it's causing velocity values to becoming strong as well. But even then, like still, you're gonna get some gusty winds, and then we're talking 60-mile-per-hour winds that are being warned for, I believe, with this. Yes, so you do have that to worry about, and you could see winds. At least what I'm seeing on velocity so far is 40 to 45 mile per hour winds. But still, you gotta be mindful of that, the hail threat, the lightning, and then eventually the flash flooding that's going to potentially take place as well. I'm still waiting to see if Wakefield issues a new warning, but for those in Dorchester County, for those in Hudson Creek and Ross Acres, Lloyd's, Town Point Estates, Madison, Taylor's Island, Smithville, Susquehanna Point, this storm is heading for you and it's fairly strong, so you're going to want to head indoors as soon as you can. All right? Cambridge, probably be a really good idea to do that as well, just to be safe. No warning yet for Hartford County, and this is starting to cross the Mason-Dixon. Actually, might straddle Mason-Dixon for a while. Just look back at this here. Hang on. Do 7. Yeah, it's going to be crossing here soon, so watch out for that. And then we got more storms, West Virginia into Virginia we go. And this has been the prime area for severe weather today. So that's going to continue. Richmond is very much under the gun. But that is that's the main deal right now in terms of what we have. Just the storms across the Mason-Dixon that have been causing problems. And then Southern Maryland, D.C. Metro that got hammered earlier by severe weather. And now it's Northern Virginia and far Southern Maryland right now that are getting in on this and starting to move towards the Eastern Shore and Dorchester County. Pardon me. I don't see any new development right now. And that's the thing. That might spare us here in the Metro. I can actually pull up temperatures here, and I'm willing to bet hourly temperatures updated, so I'll do that real quick. All right. 4 o'clock temperatures. Okay. It is still 91 in downtown Baltimore right now. 91 degrees. It is 90 in Charlottesville right now as of the hourly update. 90, and there's severe thunderstorms in place. And just like that, we got a new warning for Dorchester County. And I had a feeling this was going to drop. 70s and 80s elsewhere. Some places have seen some thunderstorms, so that's why. Reagan National reported thunderstorms as of the 4 o'clock update in terms of their remarks. But that's been clearing. But still, keep an eye on all of this. Let me just pull up the... text for this warning here. Hang on. This is a new warning. This is going to be the Wakefield office, and this is the severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Dorchester County until 5:30. At 4:38, a severe thunderstorm was located near Flag Harbor, moving southeast at 40 miles per hour. I think this might be it.
For northwestern Dorchester County in southeastern Maryland until 5:30 p.m. At 4:38 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Flag Harbor, moving southeast at 40 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail. Source, radar indicated. Impact, minor damage to vehicles is possible. Expect wind damage to trees and power lines. Locations impacted include Cambridge, University of Maryland Center for Environmental Studies, Church Creek, Madison, Taylor's Island, Wilford, Andrews, Hudson, Bucktown, and Lloyd's. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Please report severe weather by calling 757-899-2415 posting to the National Weather Service Wakefield Facebook page, or using Twitter at @WakefieldUp. Repeating, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 5:30 p.m. for the following county: Dorchester, Maryland. The National Weather Service in Sterling, Virginia has issued a special marine warning for Chesapeake Bay from...
All right. So that's the new warning for Cambridge here. That was just relayed over the NWS radio. So let me just plug this back in. And this is that storm that I was talking to you about not too long ago that looked pretty strong. So Cambridge, this is going to be coming in on you pretty soon. I've been trying to look at the Mesonet, but the one in Dorchester County, just on the west side of Cambridge, has not been up yet. There's numerous locations on the Mesonet now that are up, in case you're interested. There's one in the city that's up, one in Howard County, two in PG County. I think one of them is at College Park, one in Washington County, one in Allegheny County. So you do have those. Caroline County as well, Queen Anne's County. And there are a bunch more that are going to be dropped. There's going to be one in Western Wycomico County. And there's going to be one in Salisbury itself. There's going to be one in Princess Anne at some point. There's going to be one here near Silver Spring, I believe. More near Rockville. It might be near that 274-95 split. Or that junction there. And then there's one that's going to be near Barnesville as well. So there's Mesonet's still working on some numerous sites, but it's going to be giving us a lot of key information for days like this. So there is that. But there's our storm moving into Cambridge, Algonquin pretty shortly. So for those right now in Dorchester County, you want to go inside and stay inside and probably be on the lowest level of a sturdy building because of this thunderstorm that's going to be moving in off the bay. And then we got more storms here. This cluster has just been relentless for the last, hour? At least the last 30 minutes. Probably pushing the last hour out in southern Maryland. I'll go back. And the onslaught really started around 3:40 or 3:50. Now we're approaching the last hour where the onslaught just continues. Thankfully, it's drifting south. Thankfully. It's starting to drift more south now. And that's promising. But even then, still, you're getting on some really heavy rains across southern Charles County and getting into St. Mary's County. What I think might start to happen here within the next hour is that these pieces of energy merge. You have the one back west around Dorchester County, and then you have the big cluster, or should I say back east across Dorchester County. Excuse my lack of description there, but you have that near Dorchester County, and then back to the west, you have these storms from St. Mary's County into Charles County, into King George County, and Stafford County, and Prince William County, Fauquier County, Culpeper County. Those are going to merge, I think, at least, into a solidified line. And that will be a threat for the rest of southern Maryland, potentially, and the Delmarva, and getting into a good chunk of central and eastern Virginia. So central and eastern Virginia is going to be pretty much under the gun. And then potentially even on the eastern end of this, we may be talking the Delmarva region. So Salisbury, Princess Anne, OC, Snow Hill. Don't let your guard down, all right? Pocomoke City. Don't let your guard down with this, because that could be an issue down the line here as we head throughout the rest of the evening. And there's that storm near Cambridge from the Dover radar, which is a little bit closer. So I'm just kind of switching between radars here, seeing what the other one is seeing right now in terms of storm activity and storm structure. Let me check this out near Dahlgren real quick. And 301, it's probably just pouring rain right now. It's probably pouring rain on 301 right now. Let me see if I can get this one. Yep. 100%. Let's pull this up. This is 301. This is the Dahlgren Bridge right now. They are going right through it. Heavy rains. You can see the rough surf there of the Potomac. It's nasty. Crossing the bridge right now. It's going to be nasty. And it'll probably be nasty for the next 25, 30 minutes while the storm passes through. But thankfully, this is all starting to move southward. And slowly but surely start getting out of Charles County here because they've had enough rain. But St. Mary's County, you're just potentially getting started with this. So be mindful in St. Mary's County that you may have to deal with this. But also, I want to mention there's nothing right now in Metro Baltimore still. Nothing. I've been on here since what? 3 o'clock, give or take, or almost 3 o'clock, and there's been nothing in the metro. Closest thing has been those Frederick storms that have been really starting to fall apart, and Martinsburg is starting to fall apart again. So those storms out there along the US 15 corridor, the Highway 9, those have been not sustaining themselves, and that does bode well for us here in the metro. But we'll have to watch things closely. I'll also just look real quickly at the HRRR, and for this, I'll turn off the warnings as well, so you're not distracted by it. But HRRR, the rapid refresh product here, is indicating this turns into a full complex, a line of storms that moves through the Delmarva throughout the next 3 to 4 hours, potentially. By 8 o'clock, this should be just about done, hopefully. And then metro-wise, at least in Baltimore, and probably D.C., and I hope D.C. because they've been hammered this afternoon. Nothing else remaining left for this round. So that does help out our chances, at least in that regard. And we'll very much take that. Take dodging and bolted in the metro. No doubt I will take that any day of the week. Let's talk real quickly. I want to do something here real quick. Let's do the last 4 hours worth of hail. You can see the hail tracks here. This is 4 hours worth of hail tracks. You can see Loudoun County into Montgomery County with that storm from earlier. See the hail tracks on that one. You could see the one that went right through the heart of the D.C. metro. Loudoun into Fairfax County, into Arlington County, into D.C., and then you see the complex here across Prince William into, or should I say, Fauquier into far southern Prince William County, but more or less central Stafford County into Charles County as well. And then those storms from earlier that traveled through Adams County and York County and Hartford and Cecil. So you can see those tracks there in terms of the hail, and that's been very apparent. And the yellows are indicating potentially closer to 1.5 inches. I try and see some shades of orange here. I'll do some exact measurements here, but at least from radar estimates, 1 3/4. That'd be, I believe, egg-sized hail. So I gotta check the hail size chart here real quick. But I think that'd be at least golf ball, probably in the range of egg-sized hail. It is golf ball. So I was right the second time. It was golf balls that the radar was indicating, but more or less, I think we might have had some ping pong ball sized hail out in Adams County and York County with this, but that's neither here or there. We'll have to wait and see on that. Also, storm reports here, real quickly. I'll go over those. Let me just refresh these. I wonder if we've had any new reports recently. And well, that's trying to load. Let's look at. Let's do a couple things here. Let's do probability of severe hail. No, that's not been there. Oh no. Let's do let's do rotation. There have been some broad rotation, and you could see with that Adams County storm earlier into York County, there was some more moderate rotation. Nothing in the reports of any wall clouds, funnel clouds, or tornadoes, but you can see that increased area of rotation and shear based on those rotation tracks there across eastern Adams County and western York County. Maybe a little bit here down into the DC Metro, but even then, I think that's mostly hail. We might have had some broad rotation, but more or less, it's been concerned with damaging winds and hail. Let's do 30-minute lightning probabilities here, and I'm just curious about all this stuff. 74% of the purple is getting towards 90%, so we've had some pretty strong hail, and also some intense storms that have produced some pretty intense lightning shows as well. Current hail that's Ville. We can look at that with Ville. Yeah, I'm just gonna switch back over to our regular radar and then we'll go to Ville on that. No, I wonder what's the shortcut if we have a shortcut for Ville. Set product, yada yada yada. Actually, no, we don't. Okay. Let's look at differential. I believe this look, and also spectrum. Do we have spectrum width on here? Yes, we do. And this looks at the turbulence within thunderstorms, and you can see these have been pretty turbulent over the last hour. Turbulent, especially along that leading edge. Some really good turbulence, some really strong turbulence there as well. Let me go back. Control A. There. And there's our warning situation right now. And they just issued a new one that's going to include a large chunk of Virginia here. And I'll just rip off the counties. So this would be, what would this be? Westmoreland, portions of Richmond County, North Cumberland County. No, this would just be Westmoreland. I'm sorry. So this would be Westmoreland County, portions of Richmond County as well. I think a little bit of Essex County is in this as well. And also Caroline County, Virginia. So there's that. Hang on 1 second. All right, I'm back. Let's talk real quickly, and I'll probably take a 30-minute break after this, just because we're not getting a whole lot of new information. But nevertheless, well, keep an eye on these storms. That is gonna get dropped. York County, I would imagine it's probably dropped already. But new warning: this is gonna be southern St. Mary's County. This will include the cities of Leonardtown, California, Lexington Park. St. Mary's City is also in this as well. St. Mary's College, and there's a new warning.
Point, Maryland to Smith Point, Virginia. Chesapeake Bay from North Beach. Water 30 p.m. At 4:58 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from Solomon's Island to near Town Creek.
All right, so that's nothing. All right, let's get back into alert mode there, since I'm not getting much. But there's that storm in Cambridge right now, and then we got a new warning here. This is going to be southern St. Mary's County, and I'll pull this up real quickly. Let's refresh this, and let's talk about this here. Severe thunderstorm is located near Pope's Creek, moving east at 35. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail are the main threats. Locations impacted include Lexington Park, Leonardtown, Dahlgren, Piney Point, Tall Timbers, St. Anna Joe's Creek, St. Mary's City, St. George Island, Pope's Creek, St. Clements Bay, Wycomico River, St. Mary's River, White Point Beach, California, Patuxent River Naval Air Station, Cobb Island, Rock Point, Bushwood, Clements, and Issue. So this is going to be a pretty significant storm that's going to be moving through St. Mary's County through about the next 45 minutes, potentially an hour. And this is that same complex that started way, way back in Fauquier County and Prince William County and Culpeper County. And now it's starting to form itself into kind of like a separated line, a broken line of thunderstorms here, moving south towards Tappahannock and Bowling Green. And we got this storm in Louisa County as well, heading out Orange County and Albemarle. So that is that in terms of the storms over there. Still more storms right now in Culpeper County and Fauquier County and Stafford County and Spotsylvania County. It has been a mess, just a complete mess, and I wouldn't be surprised if flash flooding, as I've said numerous times, would be a concern. To the north, nothing much. Well, hold on a minute. We have something that popped up here. It's just south of Westminster, just along 27 here. So hang tight. Ridge Road. Okay. That might be a problem for the north and west sides of the metro. So if that does turn into something, Cockeysville, Liverville Timonium, Reisterstown, Owings Mills, Pikesville, Randallstown, Sparks Glencoe, Hunt Valley, Mace Chapel, Towson even, you're going to have to want to watch out for this if this does turn into something. Because we haven't had anything yet here in the metro. And we've been staying in the mid-upper 80s. It's probably still in the 90s here in the city. I just got to wait for 5 o'clock numbers to come in. It might just drop down to 89 or something. But still, it's there. And you want to be mindful of that. So, metro, you got to keep this one in mind. And then we got one more in Cecil County, and then the remnants of that secondary storm. It's probably running into that used atmosphere as well. Sometimes these storms can sustain themselves, going over some of the same locations, but a lot of times they do die out because they're going over the same used atmosphere. And that's what I think is happening with this storm in Cecil County. And then we got another storm trying to pop up here in southern Washington County again. It's been Washington County's seen a few of these storms try to make attempts at strengthening, but they've been falling apart. Again, near Keedysville and near Trago, just like some of these storms earlier, Sharpsburg as well. A moderate shower in Allegheny County right now, north of Green Spring and north of Paw Paw, northwest of Paw Paw, West Virginia here, north of 51. So there is that, and then there's the mess of severe weather that has been going on in our southern counties. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to briefly take another break, about 30 minutes. I got to take care of some business. I got to take care of some school stuff real quick. Then I'll be back around bottom of the hour. Maybe sooner than that if we do get any key updates. But right now, what you need to know is the storms down southern Maryland. We got severe thunderstorm warnings for St. Mary's County, Dorchester County. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets extended into Wycomico County and northern Somerset County at some point. And then we have the cluster of non-severe storms that are still pretty intense right now across Culpeper County, eastern Orange County, northern Spotsylvania County, Stafford County, southern Fauquier County. This is going to be moving about in that same direction. So we got to watch these down in our southern counties for sure. For Charles County, potentially again, but more or less the rest of St. Mary's County, Dorchester County, and then our remaining Delmarva counties in the path preceding that, which would be Wycomico, Somerset, and Worcester. So we'll have to watch that. And then Metro, we'll have to watch what this bad boy does. And this one near Cecil County and Kent County along the Sassafras, I believe that would be. Is that the Sassafras? I think it is. Yep. That is the Sassafras River. That one's trying to intensify as well. So I'll have to watch these. But I'll be back within the next 25 minutes or so for part 3 of this. So don't go too far, but I will be here. I will post updates as necessary. But for right now, I will sign off and we will reevaluate here and get a little bit of a restart here in about 25 minutes. So